Bob, I'm really excited about my next guest because he holds the record for the most pinch hit home runs in Major League history with 23, but the one I'll remember the most is this one.
Stairs rips one into the night, deep into right, way out of here. And Philadelphia gets a pinch hit, 2-run shot. And the Phillies lead 7-5 in the eighth.
All right, so Bob, I know everybody knows in Philadelphia remembers where they were.
I know. I was in San Diego watching that.
I was in a buddy's backyard. It was a nice, crisp fall evening. So let's go to the Toms River Volkswagen Sports Hotline and welcome into the locker room the hitting coach of the Philadelphia Phillies, Matt Stairs. Matt, welcome into the locker room.
Guys, what's going on?
All right, Matt, and we just walked down memory lane. I hope that kind of get your juices flowing.
I don't think it ever gets old. For that one big home run, it was a special season.
Matt, like I just said to my brother, I can't tell you how many people I talked to when I told them I'm having you on. Everybody could tell you where they were
when that happened.
Where they were watching it. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was everything that year went well. Even with the Victorino pinch hit, or the home run, and then the church base hit and the pinch hit home run. I mean, just everything. Blanton's home run that year, it was an incredible run, and everything just fell into place at the right time. Something
we'll never forget, but I'm sure something you'll never forget. And the reason why we're having you on too, you're the hitting coach. You got a lot of young talent, a lot of good bats, and you're working with them. But we're all excited about Rhys Hoskins, man.
Well, you should be. I mean, he's an awfully good hitter. He's put up some great numbers in the minor leagues, and we've seen what he's done up here. And it's one of those guys that I'm going to break the swing down for you. He takes the same swing and the same path every single time. He doesn't try to overswing. He doesn't just swing to make contact. He just has such a great, load back on the backside, lifting that foot up a little bit, recognizing pitches. And he's doing what home run hitters are supposed to do. When pitchers are making mistakes, he's crushing them, which is nice to see. And, sometimes younger guys will get in there and they'll see a pitch coming down the middle. It's a hanging curveball or it's a flat fastball coming in the middle of the plate. And they'll gear up a little bit. They'll foul straight back. Well, one thing about Haas is doing is that he's taking that same swing, knowing that the point of contact is where you accelerate to hit the baseball. And that's why he's done very well over the last couple of years and the start of his big league career.
Hey, Matt, this is Bill's brother Bob. I was thinking he really looks comfortable up at the. I mean, the way he just looks so comfortable. And Billy and I were talking earlier before you were on it. Is it possible? I mean, once he gets around the league and guys get to see him, they'll get a book on him, or you feel that he's just a natural.
Well, I think he's a natural. I think they're going to get a book on him, but I also think he's going to get a book on all the pitchers.
Yeah, that's true. It does go both ways, I guess, right?
Well, I mean, everyone says, is it harder for a big leaguer to come up to be a hitter and face big league pitching, or is it easier, harder for the pitcher to pitch against hitters? I think hitters have a disadvantage in that situation. You don't know how the baseball moves. You don't know, the late movement. If he has a natural cut, his delivery point, a lot of things. So one thing I'll tell you about Haas is that, I get to the ballpark every day about 12:30 or 4 to 1 and do the scouting report and go over to the starting pitcher and break down the pitches and what he likes to do, tendencies with 2 strikes, runners in scoring position, whatever it is. And about 125, 120, he walks in with his plate of food and he does the exact same thing. So he's prepared. He knows when he goes into that game what this guy likes to do.
So he looks at film. He looks at film and everything. And...
Oh yeah, I mean, most of the guys do. But I mean, he's in there. He studies it for a good 45 minutes to an hour and watches every pitch. And and it's such an advantage nowadays in baseball because you have technology of everything. You can break down, you name it, you can do it, and it's nice to see him prepared. He's into the game. And it makes your job pretty easy when you don't have to worry about, going over in depth of the scouting report when I hand him the sheet at, 1:30 and he looks at my sheet and goes over it. And at the end of it, he says, I agree, and we're good to go. So yeah, it's been fun. First Major League ball player, quickest to 9 home runs and 21 RBIs. I mean, that's impressive.
That's very impressive.
It really is. You think about it. It is. And
it is.
All the players that played the game, all the great home run hitters,
No,
They were like, is this guy for real?
Man, I got to tell you, it's football season. Obviously, it's coming. We're getting closer to football season. And last night, my brother had a big cake party down here. Everybody's talking about Rhys Hoskins' home run, his ninth. You know what I mean? It's like changing the whole dynamic of conversations on the beach, in the locker room, or the office building.
Well, that's a good thing, and I think it's hopefully in September. I'm not sure what other kind of moves are going to be made, but people will come out in September to watch. The young Phillies that are swinging the bat well. Hoskins, who's called up, and
Williams.
Yeah, Williams. I mean, all these guys, and a lot of people ask me, about Williams and his walks and guys hitting up here at younger players. Well, sometimes hitting in the big leagues is easier than hitting in the minor leagues. And people look at me like I got three eyes. I'm like, well, you break it down. You have a smaller strike zone. You have pitchers that have better command. One, you have better lights. You have better batter's eye, and you have an atmosphere every night of 25 to 40,000 people in most places where you go. So. I've been happy with the guys that have come up, and I think we're definitely going in the right direction with what we're doing. So as a hitting coach, it's fun. I mean, the results aren't what you want, of course, but as a hitting guy, I'm happy with what I see right now.
We're talking with Matt Stairs, Philadelphia Phillies hitting coach, and as a coach, when things are going this well, I guess you want to just take a step back and not, say too much or give them too much advice. Or how do you approach that when somebody's this hot?
No, it's funny. The other day in batting practice, I walked up to him. I said, "Do you feel like your hips are swinging?" He said, "Yeah." And you give him a little pointer about the knee coming up. Instead of living up straight, turn it in a little bit. It doesn't matter how good you're going. You're always going to ask questions to the hitting coach. Talking about how to lay off a sinker down and in against a right-hander, that's the one he has a little trouble with. You give him your little point of what you think and what works, but again, what is there to say?
Yeah, exactly.
The biggest thing is he's allowed him to go out there, and hitters can be very smart at times, and they can be dumb. And the biggest thing is when a hitter starts to feel that his swing's not there 100%. As I did, and a lot of guys do, they come to the hitting coach and they say, what do we got? And, because you don't want to step on too many toes when things are going well. It's easy to sit there and put your arm around the guy and pat him on the back when the cameras are on you and say, hey, hand gestures and stuff. No, I'm not like that. It's one of those things where you leave him alone and, he'll come back if and hopefully he doesn't, but if he starts to struggle.
Hey, Matt, all of a sudden now it looks like we're stacked with outfielders. And
nice big bats,
which was a good potential. Thing. But what's going on with Maikel Franco? I mean, what's he hasn't really been. I mean, he went yard last night. I think he went yard. But I mean, what's going on with him?
Well, I think with Mikey, I still think Mikey's going to be a great player. I really do. There's a few things that we've worked on this season that he's having a tough time repeating it in the game. And the biggest thing for Mikey, I think, is that one is his back elbow. His back elbow gets up too high, which makes the swing look too long. And I tell you, we talk all the time. I mean, and if people think that he's happy with what he's doing, he's not. He comes in the cage and we sit down and have a session for 10 or 15 minutes before we hit. And, he says he sees the ball well and everything we talk about he does, but he can't do it in the game right now. And, I think sometimes having a bad year might be a good wake-up call for people.
So Matt, right before we got you up on the air, we have ESPN playing in the background, and we're watching some highlights. And I know since you're Canadian, I'm sure you really enjoyed that brawl the other night.
I mean, if there was a hockey brawl, it'd be better. There's no area for fighting in baseball. I believe. I mean, I've been in a lot of them, but I think sometimes it's good for a team. Especially for a team that's kind of dragging, and all of a sudden now you're going up there and you're fighting. I don't agree with the headshot. I don't agree with Sanchez taking the cheap shot.
Yeah, exactly.
I think a lot of ball players become cowards in baseball brawls. And, it's easy to walk up behind somebody and punch them and then run. And if it was a place for baseball, then I would love to see the hitter, whoever it's between the two players, square off and make a circle around it and go at it. But there's definitely no place for fighting in baseball, but there's even more no place for sucker punches in baseball.
Well, we love watching the fighting, Phils, and you're doing a great job, Matt. And I thank you so much for coming on because we're really pumped up about the future, especially now.
Yeah, we got something
Rhys
to look forward to.
Hoskins, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on. Take care.
See you, Matt.
All right, Matt Stairs there on the Tom's River Volkswagen Sport Hotline.